All right, welcome back to Nonprofit Know-How. I'm your host, Dennis Deuce, and this week, here live in the studio, we have Ray Henderson from
Grassroots.org.
grassroots.org. Glad to have you back, and we've decided that we're actually going to make this a monthly thing. So I'm kind of excited about that. So we'll have some different guests on from time to time, but Ray here is going to talk with us once a month because it seems to make sense. I mean, explain why it is we feel like grassroots.org should have that kind of a prominence on nonprofit know-how.
There's a lot of work that's being done, good work, charitable work around the country, and executive directors are really busy. And I think the tools that we have that offer technology and technology resources to nonprofits are valuable and can help executive directors save time, save money, and actually accelerate their efforts.
Exactly. And since the entire purpose of nonprofit know-how is to help executive directors and nonprofits to be more successful, we felt, hey, a nonprofit that's all about serving nonprofits makes for a really great guest, and we can do some reviews of the various guests that come on in between and stuff. So, little side note right there. If you are a nonprofit and you want to come on Nonprofit Know-How, hit me up with an email through the center at SEO.com. Be happy to talk to you about possibly being on an upcoming episode. Okay, so Ray, it is time for App of the Week.
Excellent.
I'm going to go ahead and share your screen here. I want to go ahead and tell us what you got for an App of the Week.
So one of the partners of grassroots.org is a company called Dashlane. They are a digital wallet. It allows, I know in my work with Grassroots, I've got multiple things I'm trying to do, lots of websites that I partner with and also utilize. All of them require login credentials, usernames and passwords. So it gets a little bit difficult to sort through and keep track of all the usernames and passwords. And so Dashlane is one of our partners. And once you become a member of grassroots.org, which is free, you just apply for this free tool if you're a 501c3 nonprofit. And it takes you to Dashlane, which is one of our partners. And they offer to all nonprofits 6 months of free trial. Normally it's a 30-day trial, but they give it to our nonprofits for 6 months for free. And then if you decide you'd like to continue with their service, it's a 20% off, which is an exclusive to Grassroots. But what I love about it is that it allows you to manage all your passwords with one click on your computer or your phone. So it's also an Apple iPhone app or a Droid app. And it can help you create usernames and passwords so that it's completely security safe. And then when you log on, you don't have to remember any of those things. You just basically, it pulls up Dashlane, it asks you which company that you're trying to log into, and it has it all stored and saved for you. You just press enter.
Wow, that sounds like a massive time saver.
Yeah, it's a huge time saver.
Because, man, passwords get to be a nightmare, especially on those sites that you don't use
that often.
All the time.
Yeah.
You know, that can be a tough one. So, yeah, I'm going to actually go check that out myself.
Please do.
That's awesome. All right. So, ooh, that's not good music. We're not going to go with that one. Let's, yeah, that was so bad. Okay, so we're now going to move on to talk a little bit more about grassroots.org, and you have a specific thing that you want to talk about today. Now, I want to make this abundantly clear to everyone. I did not ask for this, okay? Just for the record, this was Ray's idea.
Yeah.
Was I clear enough?
You're clear enough.
All right, good deal.
Everyone should know
Ray,
that.
With that intro, I'm going to let you go ahead and pat me on the back.
Excellent. I'm so glad that we're able to talk about this particular tool that I think is an important one for executive directors to look at as they're growing their organizations, trying to do good work. And one of the ideas that most executive directors have is they want to cultivate stakeholders, which could be donors, volunteers, other people in the community, all the work that they're trying to do, whether it's feeding the hungry or clothing the naked or helping people with addiction, it doesn't really matter. They need to get it in front of eyeballs. And because the computer is such a huge part of our lives and actually now moving to mobile phones, one of the tools that we have on our toolbox is search engine optimization, and our partner on that is a company called SEO.com.
I've heard of them.
Yeah. They're a great company. They've been a partner of ours for a long time, and I'm going to talk about that tool today.
Okay, great. I'm going to go ahead and screen share you then.
Okay.
You want to screen share first, or we've actually got another guest?
Yes.
You're in charge right here, so which way do you want to go?
I'm just going to screen share first and show you what tool is available once you log on and join grassroots.org, which is free again for 501c3 nonprofits. There's no cost. There's also no cost to anybody else that wants to join, like a volunteer or a donor or a business. They can all join for free. It's just that the nonprofits receive these tools and special offers that nobody else can. So.
Though I do have to point out, I joined after we were on the last time, and
Yes.
I've had some really interesting interactions
Yeah.
on the forum there that have been really beneficial, and some of those have moved into other social media realms, but it's a great tool if
Yeah.
you are a business. You're not a 501c3 and you want to connect with that world.
Yep.
It's a great way to reach that.
That's a great point. There are a lot of business owners that want to give back or have resources and services that they can give back. They just don't know how. And so what Grassroots does is it tries to connect those communities together using the internet and using our unique community platform, which is, again, before we talked about, it's the meshing of like an eHarmony and also Facebook, which allows that interaction to take place.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a great tool, and if this is something that you are a market that you want to go out after as a business, or you want to give back as an individual, because there are lots of people on there. There were 2 or 3 people that were fairly active that were all web designers. They worked for other companies,
Yep.
but they wanted to use their expertise,
Mm-hmm.
and so they were volunteering to help nonprofits evenings and weekends with their skill set. So if you have a special skill and you want to reach out, it's a great place to get into that world.
Wonderful. So today we're going to talk about SEO, and the term SEO is used a lot in the business world today, but for nonprofits it's fairly new in terms of how they're using SEO, and I think there's a lot of executive directors, especially those that are small and medium-sized nonprofits, that don't even really know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
So one of the services that we offer through our partner SEO.com is search engine optimization. And if you go back into our webpage and as you've joined, you would click on this tool right here, SEO, and it takes us to a partner page which allows you to apply for the service. And what SEO.com does is it donates its employees. They volunteer to help nonprofits with 1 hour of free consultation, and that's probably worth about $150
Yeah.
for that 1 hour to help nonprofits. And basically the way the tool works is that once you click on the tool, as you can see on the web page, you would fill out this, what your website is, your name, your email, phone, company, and title, and then you basically hit the enter button, submit, and it gives you a free web report of what the SEO is going on your site. And rather than me try and explain it, I'm going to have one of our volunteers who is a staff member here at SEO.com, Jonathan, talk about that service.
All right, great. Let's get Jonathan to switch out here, and just really quickly, I just want to touch on this. So, yeah, it's easier to swing that. There we go. All right. So Jonathan is one of the employees at SEO.com. So he's a coworker of mine, and he is now in the hot seat. We've swapped out.
Hey Dennis, what's happening?
Well, not a lot. I'm glad to have you on here. We are going to talk about an experience you had doing some volunteer work and doing one of these 1 hour consultations last Friday.
Well, I've done just for the record, like I've done many. It just wasn't last Friday, so I've seen a lot of websites, and I've kind of witnessed what's going on in the nonprofit world to a certain extent. So this has been something SEO.com's been doing for a while now. We just recently started it back up a couple weeks ago. So
Yeah, and we added a number of. There were how many people volunteered this time when we opened this back up? We had a lot.
Well, I think we have 6 staff members, but I mean we had hundreds of requests, hundreds of leads, nonprofits, and it's really great. I mean, it's a good thing. And just to kind of tell you about my experience with it. Well, first of all, we're generally just supposed to talk about search engine marketing, how to rank really, really high in Google for all sorts of good terms that end up driving, traffic and potential, revenue for the nonprofits. But one thing that I noticed when I started working with some of these, small nonprofits is their website conversion rate wise is not optimized at all. A lot of the times they're not even,
because we do have people that are fairly entry level on this stuff, and website conversion is a fairly important thing. Explain what website conversion.
Well, usually, if it's a decently good website, for every 100 people that show up on the website, you're looking at 2 people that will complete the goal of the website, or maybe 3 sometimes, and in really good situations 4 or 5. And that goal might be a possible lead, filling out a lead information. It could be buying a product, or it could be.
So the goal, for example, on the SEO page that you connect from grassroots.org, that goal is to fill out that orange strip of information.
Sure, yeah. So that's the goal, and so when anybody fills that out, that there's the conversion. And so what I'm noticing is some of these websites, I'll ask them, I'll be like, how many people come to your website a month? How many people have came to your month? How many transactions do you have on your website? And I'm shocked to hear that some of these websites will have 1,000 people show up to their website a month, but not one person will check out or donate money or put in their lead information. So then it's like you have a crisis here. You don't just have like a few problems, you have a crisis, because we could get you ranking really well for all sorts of traffic if you want, in Google, but nothing's going to happen. So before we even get near the whole like let's optimize for the search engines, it's like you're not selling your mission as a nonprofit to the public. That's the first thing. That's great. You have all sorts of really cool pictures, and you posted you have all these web pages and all that, but nothing is happening. And so what I've realized is nonprofits are so good about talking about what they do, but they're not good on calling to action.
I think a lot of times they're scared to ask for the sale. It feels pushy. I mean, that would be one of my guesses.
Yeah, and sometimes they'll have like a little donate now button at the very bottom.
Kind of hidden.
Kind of hidden. One guy, it was like this small text on the upper right-hand corner of the page, and it doesn't sell it, and so that's kind of the big thing. To tell you a little bit about myself, Dennis. So when I was in college, I was in the entrepreneurship program at a local college down here, and I was taking this entrepreneurship class, and we had to start a business and make it successful by the end of the semester. And successful was, it had to, at least bring in over $1,000 in revenue. And so, interesting story, a kid in our class actually was diagnosed with leukemia during the semester. And so all the classmates decided, hey, for our final project, for our business, let's start a nonprofit organization, and let's raise, money for this kid. because he put him out of work. He had tuition bills and all sorts of. He had a lot of financial issues going on, and so we realized we could really help him if we could drive the community together, raise thousands of dollars to pay for this kid's debt that he's receiving because of this disease. And so, you know, the kids in the class, they created this really, nice WordPress website, and they'd go out to the community and they'd make all these calls, and nothing would happen. Nothing. And people would be like, "That's great, you guys are doing that. That's wonderful." So what we did, I had a really close friend that was really good with videography, and we're like, we have to sell this to the public. We're not selling anything to the public. We're just we have a great story, but we don't know how to convey it, and so we need to bring more emotion into it. So I decided, I got this friend, and we made this amazing video and we actually showed the whole story. And then in the story, we had all sorts of little buttons, we had, things in the description that kind of showed that we're really raising money to help this kid. We pushed the fact that we're raising money, not just the good cause. And so then we pushed the video out, and all of a sudden we raised $8,000 in a week. And so nothing. So we had 2 months of talking, and we couldn't raise a single penny. But the minute that we pushed out a really powerful video, all of a sudden our revenue, and I hate using the word revenue, but the money coming in just took off. And it's so important that businesses realize, like, these nonprofits realize we need to sell our message. There is a part, and I understand there's, these guys have great hearts, they're doing a great thing, but there is this business aspect of selling that comes into play, and it, selling off of your website, conveying this message. So that's the first and most important thing, because we could drive 100,000 people to your website, and if you're not selling 1 out of 10,000, there's a nightmare going on. So, but yeah, so one big thing that I'm big on is conversion rate optimization. Second thing is just the experience that people have on your website. That's another big thing that I've noticed, that sometimes nonprofits will just throw up 5 pages. The About Us, you have the contact page, our mission, and here's our lead page, and yeah, we have a blog that we might have put up 2 articles, and a homepage, and then that's the end of our website progression. And it's important to realize, like, websites, they need to keep progressing, or it's just a dead animal just sitting there.
So I think one of the main takeaways right here is, first of all, you've got to have a goal. And I'm going to guess that a big part of why conversion is low is because I don't think most businesses, let alone nonprofits, understand the importance of setting a goal for your website. I really think that's a missed step. It's like, I have to have one because I have to have one. Same thing on social media. I see people jumping onto Facebook or to Twitter or to whatever because somebody told them they needed to be there, and they're spewing stuff that's not going to do them any good because they don't have a goal. What is your goal? What are you trying to achieve there?
Yeah, and this is a common mistake in all of marketing. You make a really good point, is what is the end result? And we're so attracted to spreading our message, but not finishing the sell. And like, for example, let me just say something real quick. We have all these websites where we'll do really well on, and this is just a little SEO insider right here. We will get authoritative traffic, and when I mean by authoritative, I mean people that are coming to your website that are ready to buy, and they will buy, and they'll check out, and the sales and the revenue will go up. But there are some clients that they don't care about that. They want 100,000 people at their website, but at the end of the day, you raise their revenue, you raise their sales, you gave them that return on investment, you achieved their goals, but they're just so attracted to the fact that they have a massive audience. And I think you have to be careful of that mentality. I mean, it really comes down to how many people are completing the goals of your website. And there are so many websites that do just so many cute things all the time to get people on their website, but they don't drive home the bread and the butter. And that's what conversion rate optimization is. So,
yeah. So one of my favorite examples of what you're talking about right here is Old Spice. I mean, 3-4 years ago, they came out with those really great, crazy ads, and with Mustafa, is that his name?
I don't know.
The guy riding the horse backwards, and all these other things, and they took off on YouTube, and they didn't really carry the ball, and so their sales spiked, and then their sales dropped, and they didn't really know the distance. They didn't know they had this one little gimmick that spiked things, and that was great, but it wasn't based on some goal. And you can see that it wasn't based on some clear objective and goal because of how quickly it died. And I think Kmart right now, I don't know if you've seen the Kmart ads where the kids in the playground are dissing each other. That's another one that doesn't seem to have a goal, and yet talking along the term of memes, all of these are YouTube
funny
memes, right? One that has its goal, and its goal is clear and concise, and it just keeps ticking along, is Dollar Shave Club. You can tell what their goal is, and you can tell that it's a cultural consistency, not just a gimmick. And I think that's really important that people get that figured out. What is our message? What are we trying to do with our marketing? And then start building once you've got the plan. It's like building a house without an architect drawing something up first. Who knows what it's going to look like, or if it's even going to stand up.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So, all right. Now, let's have you talk just a little bit about some of your individual experiences that you've had. Basically, what I'm wanting to know is, what is the process? So, if a nonprofit fills out the orange box that we saw earlier, what are they going to be getting in the process?
Well, we have a few guys set aside here at the company, really good. A lot of these guys, they've been around the industry for a couple of years. They've looked at thousands of websites. I mean, when you're in this industry, you're not just looking at 5 or 10 websites a day. You're looking at easily 50 to 100. And you're constantly analyzing everything on the internet when you work for a search engine marketing company. But so these guys have a lot of really good experience. They have figured out things that work, which is something that's really hard with Google these days, because it's not easy. And so what we do is each of us once a week will sit down and review. First of all, we have like kind of a review session where we look over the website. We kind of analyze everything about the website, figure out what's really good about it and what's really bad about it.
And you do that prior to even contacting.
Yeah, this is prior to, so we do invest a little bit of time into just researching the website, researching a little bit about the industry that they're in for the nonprofit, because not all of it's, some of it might be disaster relief, some of it might just be donating to the poor, And one I know was like for all about helping children in elementary schools that don't have the best resources at home with their parents. So there's all these really good causes that we tend to really like to help out on. And so yeah, we analyze the website, figure out what's going on the website, and then yeah, we get on the call and just kind of go over the basic mission of what's going on with the nonprofit and get a little bit more information from the person running the nonprofit or the person we're talking to. And then yeah, I mean, we go through a lot of these steps on just some of it's the basic marketing SEO knowledge. Some of it we go a little bit more into depth with if we feel like we should. And so each call is a little bit different. We'll have like one set specific routine because some people are more advanced in their search engine marketing, and some are just ready to just be born into the search engine marketing world, and they're just babies.
Mm-hmm.
So it varies call to call, but we usually like to spend an hour just kind of going over as much as we possibly can to help that person have success once we get off the phone.
And the goal is to give some actionable items. They walk away with a report, correct?
Yeah, they usually have. Well, I mean, we usually send them off an email, just kind of going over everything that we went over in the call, some notes. They usually get a report from SEO.com, just kind of on how their website is doing overall. And then we have some little basic services that we talk to them about in case they are interested. And so it's overall, it's a really good experience on both ends because at the end of the day we know we're doing good to the world and we know they're doing good to the world, so it's a win-win for both of us.
Mm-hmm. All right, good deal. Well, we really appreciate you volunteering to do this. SEO.com appreciates it. It's part of the mission of our owner, and I'm sure Mike appreciates it. So thanks for sharing your expertise as well on how the SEO tool can help out. Now, one thing I just want to touch on, yesterday when we were discussing this, you brought up something about a big project that you're working on for SEO.com on Black Friday, and we discussed a little bit about how that could or could not assist nonprofits. Of course, it depends on the nonprofits, but I just wanted to see if you had any thoughts on how nonprofits can take advantage of this month's big event for their fundraising.
Well, what it is, we've realized, Black Friday is coming up, and first of all, I don't know if anybody's ever looked at the numbers for Black Friday, but it's out of this world. I mean, you have 226 million people in the population last year out of 310 million people, according to the census, that are United States American citizens. So you have 226 million people that are going to go shopping in one day. And not only that, the average shopper is going to spend, between $400 and $450. Last year was $423. So this is a really mega, like, e-commerce retail shopping Super Bowl that's growing year after year. And so
I knew there was a reason I did not go shopping on Black Friday. Wow.
And yeah, it's a pretty crazy day, but the big thing is we're noticing that big companies are really, really good at marketing for this day, and small businesses are not. They just don't have the experience. Well, the expertise, the experience that marketing agencies have, being behind the closed doors and running these campaigns. And so what we are in the process of creating is a Black Friday marketing guide for small businesses. Now, something really unique about this is there's not much information on the internet about marketing on Black Friday. So we're hoping this is going to be like the big resource to help people out when it comes to marketing for Black Friday. So now how that could help nonprofits, I don't know. It's more, marketing for one specific day. It requires a lot of momentum, promotion, blitzing, more blitzing type strategy, going a little bit more extreme in your marketing strategy instead of having a balanced plan.
Little risk taking.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, most of the year if you're just having fruits and vegetables, now's the time to do a full-on juice fast. That's what Black Friday marketing is like. So, yeah, that's pretty much kind of some things we're going over in our little guide, and so it's really cool. We're really excited to push it out, and we're thinking it'll definitely have a big, pop to it. So
good deal. And the big blog post you've been working isn't out yet, correct?
No, it'll be out Thursday morning.
Thursday morning. Okay, so we will, any of you that are watching this, we will have notes or a link in the YouTube notes. We'll have a link in the notes for this event on Google Plus and a couple of other places. So if you want to check out this article, we'll have that available for you.
Yeah.
So good deal. All right, well, let's go ahead and thank you so much, Jonathan.
Yeah, thank you.
And let's go ahead and bring Ray back on. I'm going to give Jonathan a big round of applause there. All right. So.
You can probably. Do you want him to step out or?
Yeah, if you need to get to other things. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Jonathan. Appreciate your help.
All right. So, do you have any closing remarks that you want to tie-ups on what we just talked about with Jonathan?
Well, he's just a great example of, what our partners, our different corporate partners, are willing to do in terms of, donating their employee time and really looking at the vested interest of the nonprofit world. One of the things I liked what Jonathan said is that he doesn't have like a blueprint, that he really analyzes and goes individually with each nonprofit that's using this particular tool. The walkaway is that they get, at the end of the day, the nonprofit gets a report saying where their web page is in terms of their SEO. So there's like a starting point. And then with Jonathan and the other employees that donate their time here at SEO, they walk away with, like you said, actionable items to here's what needs to be done next. We are working with SEO now on developing some special tools that will be highly discounted, that if a nonprofit doesn't have the time or they don't have a tech person on staff, that maybe SEO then can take some action items off their shoulders and do that work for them at a highly discounted rate. So just figuring out those details right now.
Good deal. So we're ever evolving in the relationship between grassroots.org and SEO.com.
Yep.
Good deal. So I really liked having Jonathan on here. I
Me
think
too.
He added a nice dynamic, and I just want to throw out there, maybe on the month by month, we could highlight some of the other groups. We could bring them on via phone.
That'd be fine.
Video conference. And bring them in from wherever they're at, because
Yeah.
not all of them are sharing office space the way we are.
No. In fact, we have partnerships all over the country with corporations, so that's a great idea. Use video conferencing or a phone conference to bring in.
With Google Hangouts on air.
Yeah.
So easy to bring in another computer, just boom. So
fantastic.
Yeah, we can do that. All right, great. Well, thank you so much again for being on Nonprofit Know-How. And until next month, we'll have you back next month. We a couple of things. I'm working on a couple of different people to possibly come on, and after some of the things the story that Jonathan told, I've got 3 different companies that all do video production, various types of video production for nonprofits or for-profit businesses, and so some of these guys specialize in humor. I probably am going to try and get all of them on, quite honestly, because they all have a different take. But I think that will be coming up sooner than later. We're also talking with the Hub of Salt Lake, which is a social entrepreneur kind of starting point. It's an office space where they can meet investors and some other things, but everybody is social entrepreneurship. So they're for-profit businesses, but with a conscience.
Nice.
So I think that ties into nonprofit know-how. All right, well, thank you so much again, Ray. And if you have any questions for me, best place to hit me up is Google+. You can use the hashtag AskTheDeuce. Be happy to answer any questions you have about online marketing for your nonprofit business. And appreciate you guys watching the episode. Tell your friends about it. We will be back next week with another episode. And again, Ray, thank you for being on the show.
Thanks.